we go, my green list, my top 5, this, that, or the other. And today it is my top 5 takeaways from a weekend that I spent, as you hopefully did as well, doing basically nothing but watching NBA postseason action.
Number 5.
We've talked a lot about the Nets. I will just say this again. This one goes on KD's permanent record. If this doesn't look vastly different tonight, this series does not get forgotten. People still talk about LeBron James from a series he played in the finals 11 years ago against Dallas. This is a first-round series in which his team is about to get swept, and he has been the primary reason his team has not won. If this was LeBron James, Hembo, I'll give you credit. You said it last week, and I said it on TV this weekend and didn't credit you for it because that's just the way I am. But you couldn't have been more right. If this was LeBron James, people would be talking about this series for the rest of his life. They should treat this the same way.
Do you know how many shots Kevin Durant has made in the fourth quarter across 3 games in this series?
I'm going to say less than 5.
He has made 3 shots in 30 fourth quarter minutes this series.
It goes on the permanent record. We cannot pretend otherwise.
Number 4.
Number 4, I feel terrible for Joel Embiid, and I'm going to let the members of the hashtag crew chime in with their takes in a minute. I'm sure yours will be about the Sixers. But, look, I don't know if that team was going to go to the finals this year or not, but I think they had a real chance. They were going to steamroll through Toronto, and I still believe they will. And I think their series against Miami would have been a pick-em, like an even shot. Tyrese Maxey is playing so well, you won't have to worry about the Thibault vaccination situation anymore after this round. But primarily, Embiid was playing so well. You said it last week, Kemba. He was the best player in the playoffs. And for him to tear a ligament in his thumb, it's just not going to be the same. He's going to play through it because he's tough and he wants it, and I respect the hell out of him for it. And he'll have surgery whenever their season comes to an end. But I think this is going to determine their fate. Like, I just don't think they can beat Miami with him having this injury. And I feel terrible for him because I would have made that a pick 'em. I would have said Philly-Miami is 50-50. And Embiid's greatness was the reason why. He could have carried them. And I just think with that injury in his right hand, it's almost impossible for me to picture it not being a major factor. So I really feel bad for him because he has played great. He finally got rid of the Simmons thing, and this was his chance. So I feel bad for him. I really do. We'll get Hembo's thoughts on that as we go.
Number 3.
At number 3, the Bulls had to have the worst weekend of any team I've seen in a very long time. My kids were at both of these games, by the way. Not only did they not get to see, and all the fans in Chicago get to see 1 minute of competitive basketball, they were not in either of these games for a minute. Both these games were over. Like you could still hear the echo of the whistle of the opening buzzer, and the game was over. But then for Grayson Allen to dominate them in both games, I tell you what, boy, has the NBA changed. The fact that no one on the Bulls deposited him in the second row of seats at any point in those 2 games when he was just humiliating them after all that's happened, the league has changed. Maybe for the better. That's not for me to say. I'm certainly not advocating violence. But every now and again, a hard foul is a hard foul. I can't believe they did not take one on him when these games were completely out of hand and he was driving to the basket with no fear whatsoever. So the Bulls put up no fight, none. It was an embarrassing performance, to be completely honest with you. Has any team won more games without even competing against good teams than the Bulls did this year? So that series will mercifully end in 5 games. What a terrible weekend that was for their fans.
Number 2.
Number 2 is I told you about Brandon Ingram. I have been telling you all season, from the minute he started playing, this is a good team. They were 1-12 when the season started. And the primary reason is because he was hurt. And since he came back, he is everything Ben Simmons is not. He was drafted 1 spot after Simmons. And Mike Schmitz, I still remember leading up to that draft, saying over and over and over again, they should take Ingram number 1. They should take Ingram number 1. He's the best player in this. And even when Simmons won the Rookie of the Year, Schmitz was still saying Ingram is the best player. And he is. Look how good he is, and look how hard he plays, and look how much he wants it. The Pelicans are good. I've been telling you that for a while. And if they should ever get Zion, that's a team with a very interesting future. But Brandon Ingram is a star in the NBA. If he was playing anywhere else, people would pay a lot more attention to him. So this is one I got right. I've been telling you that since like sometime in December or January. I started raving about him because I'm paying attention to them. He is that kind of good.
Number one.
And then finally at number one, I'll say it again. They're going to fire Steve Nash, the Nets are, because there's nothing else to do. You can't do anything with KD. You can't do anything with Kyrie. You can't do anything with Ben Simmons. And those three are their actual problems. So what they'll do is they will just, I used a Titanic analogy earlier, they'll just reshuffle the deck chairs on the Titanic. They'll bring in someone else to coach them that Kyrie will ignore completely. And that other person will stand there helplessly on the sideline watching the game while their team and that team winds up underachieving. So they're going to fire Steve Nash, and he has absolutely nothing to do with what is wrong with them.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.